Hello, hello, it's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to Thursday Night Stamp Therapy. We have a very special episode for you today. It is our monthly free class, and today we're kind of doing it a little bit different. We're doing a stamp along. So many of you already have this kit that you received for ordering from me last month, and there's an opportunity to order this month to get the next class kit for free. If you didn't get a chance to earn it for free, or as a team member get a discounted kit, you can place an order, or you can order this kit and get everything that I'm using today to make these cards. And we'll talk about that later. I'm actually having a kit sale right now, a little flash sale. So if you get any project kit, you can choose a free kit from 2024 as a bonus. And that includes this kit that we're using right now tonight, the Celebratory Kits Suite. So this little flash sale is only going on until Tuesday, September 2nd. So you only have a few days to take advantage of it. You're going to find this kit as well as all my kits at juliedavison.com/kits. You can also get PDFs for all of my class kits, including this one in my Etsy shop. And I just posted this one within the last hour. It's been a busy day, but it is up there, and I also realized I was missing a few, so I added those as well. So I'm so excited about this kit sale. I have gobs and gobs of leftover kits from last year because I overproduced, and so I've got lots of kits to get rid of. I hope that you'll help me. Any kit on this page that you get, and you'll get a free one from over here, the 2024 kits. So if you just go ahead and use the buy now button, I will contact you and ask you which one you want for free, and then I'll send them together. So awesome. So happy you guys are joining me tonight. Today is marking a little bit of a shift in our classes, because we were doing the classes. I was showing the cards ahead of time, and then you were watching the replay to make them. But I'm really excited to return to more of a stamp along kind of format. So excited to see many of you tuning in. Let me know if you are watching live or if you're watching the replay and stamping with me to make your cards. Now, if you didn't get the kit and you don't want the kit because you already have all this stuff at home, you could still follow along and make these cards. If you don't have this designer paper, you could follow along and make similar cards. And I just had a thought. Make similar cards using whatever you've got at home. I'm going to print something for my reference, and shout out to someone in the kitchen to bring me the printout when it comes down the line. I am feeling better. Thank you so much for asking. I've kind of turned a corner. It's been a rough week, and I was not feeling so great really since Sunday, and it's been sort of hard to get all my stuff done. But today I kind of feel like I turned a corner. I got my walk in this morning, and that kind of, I felt good, like I had some energy. But as the day is winding down, I feel like, okay, it's time to rest. But I'm excited to be here with you guys, and I'm excited to stamp and share these cards with you. I'm really excited about these cards. They are so cute. This is the May 2025 online exclusives. I'm like losing my train of thought. I feel like there's so much to share with you tonight. I'm just like trying to make sure I say it all. The Celebratory Sips Suite was part of the May online exclusives. It included the bundled Cheers and Sips, which I'm using tonight, but I always try to design a kit so you don't necessarily have to have exactly the same stamp set. Maybe you could substitute something different or use images from the designer paper. This bundle, or this suite, also includes the Celebratory Sips designer paper, which you're going to get pieces in the kit, 4x6 pieces. So if you're stamping at home, you can make all the cards that we're making with 4x6 pieces. Also, I am pre-embossed one of the pieces with the glass and gardens embossing folder. I'm going to grab those so you can see them. And then we've got holographic resin dots and the gold stripe ribbon that are all part of the suite. Now, just a side note, I don't include embellishments in the kits anymore. I used to include them because we had the host code, and I would use the host code to redeem and get those embellishments. And I no longer have that resource with the host code. And so I know that you guys have a box of embellishments at home, just like I do. And so on tonight's card, I think I actually like pulled from different embellishments. So you can add whatever embellishments you have at home or leave them off if you don't want them to be so bumpy. I did see a question about the back pocket card layouts. I'm so glad that you asked about that because that's one of my favorite parts of doing the monthly kits. All of my monthly kits include a back pocket card layout. There's a new one every single month, and all of these old kits, yes, they all include a back pocket card layout. Every single one of the kits on my page includes the back pocket card layout, and so you're gonna get whatever that back pocket card layout was in that kit. So this is the one, the first card for the back pocket card layout, and I'm really excited about this layout. It's this card here. I don't always show you the finished project, but I'll give you a quick preview, and then we're just gonna dig in and start stamping. I see some of you are not ready, and what is going on, Sharon? You said your wrist is hurting today. I hope that you're okay and that is not a major injury, that you're recovering. Oh, you got your cortisone shot tomorrow scheduled. Okay, well, I'm glad that there is some relief coming, and I hope everybody else is doing well. I'm trying to keep up with your comments today. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Katie, that the sound is working again. Sometimes YouTube is so weird like that. And if you ever have issues, the best scenario is just to leave and come back. And sometimes reloading just helps that work. I'm so glad you like the back pocket card layouts, Bonnie. I'm really excited about them. You know, I've got my whole ring here. These are all the back pocket card layouts that I've done. And I am trying to organize a new event for the mini catalog, and so I would like to have some special edition cards for that event. So details pending. I'm just behind on everything with being sick. It just totally threw me off schedule. But anyway, back pocket card layouts, the first card definitely includes that. We also have another fun card here. Now, I have to tell you, the Celebratory Sips designer paper is on sale right now. Stampin' Up is doing that in color sale, 15% off. In color, I had a paper for that. Somewhere, 15% off in color products, including designer paper and kits and other things that have in colors in them. And so this Celebratory Sips does include Timid Tiger and Strawberry Slush, and so it is included in the sale that Stampin' Up is having, and that sale ends August 31st. So check things out. There is a lot of great stuff in there, including ink refills, ink pads, the flat pearls, the ribbon, and lots of different designer paper and other things. So the paper's on sale, the ribbon's on sale, the flat pearls are on sale. And I was starting to say, I used Timid Tiger for the card base on this card, Strawberry Slush for the card base on this one. This one is a fun little corner pocket card, so it kind of tucks in there. It's so great. So these are the three cards that we're gonna make tonight. It's okay if you didn't know that it was a stamp along. I honestly did not market it very well because I didn't have my stuff together. And I just finished the PDF today. Side note on the PDF, when I worked on the PDF today, I realized that the link that I gave you guys all in the little slip, so each project includes a slip that has pictures, designer paper measurements, and then links and QR codes to the measurements and to bonus project ideas using the same items in the suite. So today I was working on the PDF and I realized that I linked up to the June PDF by accident. So if you got your kit, if you go to the June PDF, there is a link to the July PDF. And if you purchase the kit from here forward, you will get the correct link on your sheet in the paper. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, it's just always one thing. It's always something. Jimmy, are you in the kitchen? Can someone bring me the printout from the printer? Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, so this is the Celebratory Sips designer paper. It has, no, it it had multiple pages. Maybe it fell. The Celebratory Sips designer paper includes really fun drinks, which is so perfect for a summer celebration. Now, I know some of you aren't into the cocktails, but I think that this represents all kinds of iced sips that you might enjoy in the summertime, including lemonade. There was one in here, I swear, that looked like iced tea up here. So all kinds of cocktails, mocktails, or other summer sips. I think the designer paper includes just so many really fun colors, and you see that, thank you so much, in all of the colors here in the designer paper. So we have paper that you can fussy cut some images from, so we're going to do a little bit of that tonight. We also have paper that you can stamp on and create your own glasses, and we're going to also do a little bit of that tonight. And then we have this page with garnishes, and the garnishes actually die cut. A lot of these die cut with the dies. So the leaves and the lemon and the strawberry and the cherry and the berries, they all will die cut with the dies from the coordinating bundle. And we've got this beautiful one. I love this one with the flowers. It really showcases all the colors in this suite beautifully. We've got Blackberry Bliss, Berry Burst, some Pretty in Pink, Strawberry Slush, Timid Tiger, little Daffodil Delight in there, and then some different greens, including Granny Apple Green, Old Olive, and some, maybe even some garden green, would you say, that darker green. This has got some bubble bath flowers. So I love that, like, the papers aren't all the drinks. So if drinks aren't your thing, I think some of the cards here, you can substitute other images that you might have at home that coordinate. Oh, no, I see Sherry. Sherry is saying that the Secret C ink refill is currently out of stock. I'm not surprised with the 2025-2027 in color sale that some of these items are going to sell out but before the sale ends. Now, that doesn't mean that they're gone forever. If they're sold out during the sale, for the most part, it just means that they're going to be restocked later. In fact, if you see it in the online store and it says currently unavailable, that means it is coming back. But there are a few items that are while supplies last, including the 2025 to 2027 in color Stampin' Up markers. Stampin' Up just announced they're discontinuing those markers. So yes, you won't be able to get the discount on them, but they will be back in stock, including that Secret C ink refill. Okay. So glad you guys are all here. I feel like I'm just running a mile a minute. I'm going to take a sip of my water and apologize in advance for my nasally sick voice. And yeah, I'm just gonna do my best. So let's dig in. Are you guys ready? Our card number one uses that embossing folder that I wanted to grab out and show you. So let me reach behind myself. I keep all of my embossing folders in this drawstring bag. I must have gotten this on an incentive trip along the way, but it just holds all my embossing folders, and I can kind of tuck it away and everything loose stays contained. So I'm just gonna grab those out. The Glass and Garden embossing folders includes 2 mini or skinny embossing folders that will fit in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It includes a flower design, which is sort of like a border, so it doesn't cover the entire folder, and then also this design here, and it is meant to look like the design that you might see on a glass, like a fancy glassware. It's kind of fun. I love it. So I think I have a sample with both of them, but I use the flower embossing folder to emboss the bottom of the Fresh Freesia cardstock for our first card. So let's dig in. This card includes, and I had the PDF printed out so that I could show you what it looks like. So it has measurements and instructions. It has some bonus ideas and other little tips in here. And then it also has a supply list of all the items that I've used. So I'm going to use this as a cheat sheet. Today I'm going to tell you the measurements out loud. I'm not going to include them in the video description because I've got it already written up on the PDF for you. So if you would like to have that printout, you can check out the PDF in my Etsy shop. So our first piece is the 5.5 by 8.5 card base, which is Blackberry Bliss. And then we have a piece of fresh freesia cardstock that's 3 3/4 by 5. Now, I do think that there are lots of different light colors in here, and you probably could also use like a bubble bath if you want to, but I do think the fresh freesia just complements the Blackberry Bliss really nicely. We have a piece of white cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. That's going to be for the inside. A little white piece that is a 1/2 inch by 2 inches. And then we have our 2 3/4 inch, 3/8 inch Blackberry Bliss circle. And of course, our back pocket card layout that has 2 full color photos on the back, so you can use this as inspiration down the road using whatever stamps and ink you have at home. I like having the black and white layout because it helps me to kind of erase the preconceived notion that I have to use exactly the same designer paper. Do you guys feel like that when you see a card, you're like, I have to copy this exactly? So the black and white hopefully will help you kind of see your own designer paper and your own images in the layout, and then the measurements will help you be able to just cut and get right to the crafting. So let's do just that. We are going to use our designer paper that comes in the kit. And the paper we're using for this card is this one with the purple flowers. And the other side of that is green. So we are going to use both sides of that designer paper. And then we also need a drink. So we're going to cut something from the designer paper or use this paper to cut ourselves a little beverage. And then I die cut the garnish from this paper to do the little flower. Now some of them already have garnishes on them, and so if you're cutting a drink that has a garnish, you don't necessarily need to add one. You could also change it up and do something different. And if you're not a fan of the celebratory sips, the cocktails, you could easily substitute some images of flowers on this card and create the same layout. Okay, so let's get out the paper trimmer and let's cut our designer paper. Now the piece that we need for the diagonal is 3 inches by 4 inches. So I'm going to start by cutting the 3. And this piece then will turn around, and that will be our green piece to go across the front of the card. So this is going to be 4 inches. And then this piece, I said 3 by 4. You could just leave it that and cut it because we're going to cut it. Or you can actually cut, if you'd like, the 4 inches. So we've got a couple extra pieces and we'll hang on to those. I don't think we're going to use them, so you'll have some extra pieces to use for a future card. All right, let's do the base of our card, and then we will add our focal image and embellish. We're going to start with that 3 by 4 inch piece, and we are going to glue this down to the card base at an angle. Now, I know some of you don't love the angle, and so if you don't want to do it at an angle, absolutely, you could do it straight, and it's going to be just fine. But I kind of like having a little something different, and so adding that kind of at an angle on the left side of the card is how I'm going to add the designer paper to the card front. I'm just realizing I need to slow down since I cut really fast, and if you're trying to follow along, then maybe you need more time to cut. So I'm sorry. I need to be conscious of that when I do stamp along videos, because I know that even when I try to slow down and take a beat, I know sometimes I'm still a little fast for you. So if you're watching on the replay, I just want to let you know that you can change the speed of the video by clicking on that little, it's like a little, like a nut, like a bolt or screw icon. That's the settings, and you can change the speed of the video, and you can speed it up, you can slow it down. It may not surprise you that sometimes I like to listen to videos at like 1.25 or even 1.5 speed. I just find sometimes that people talk too slow, and I just like, you know, I'm working, like I'm walking or something. I just got a pace to keep. So You can change the speed whether you want to slow it down or speed it up. So if you are finding that I'm going too fast, you can either pause the video or try to use the slower setting so that you can follow along and not feel like you're getting lost, because I don't want you to feel stressed. Like that's not what we're doing. DRC says, can't imagine speeding up your videos. I know, that would be crazy, right? There's this one channel I watch and they do talk fast. And so sometimes when I click over, like once you set that setting, it does save it until you close the app. And so I'll flip from one channel that talks slow to another channel that talks fast. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, that's too fast for me. Okay, while I was talking, I apologize. I cut off the part that was hanging over the edge. So just really simple with your scissors, just cut that off so it's nice and straight. And then I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to put it I'm going to put it over here on the inside of the card. I was laughing at your comment. Yes, let's speed Julie up. Do you I can set the setting for you and just talk really fast. What do you think about that? We could do this and then we could do that. And then we could bring this over. Oh my goodness. That would be too much. So I just kind of added that little bit in here. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to add the designer paper and keep that angled piece. So don't throw it out, just add it to your project on the inside. Now the next piece, if this bothers you to do it with scissors, then get your paper trimmer out. But I'm just going to take my scissors and just kind of eyeball it and cut a skinny little strip here. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. No one's measuring the inside of your card, I promise you. I want this to kind of look like washi tape, and so I'm just going to tear the edge of that little strip, and I get kind of this white little paper. If you like both ends to be torn, you can. I think on my sample I only did one end, but I'm just going to add that to the inside of the card just as like a little piece of washi tape kind of on the inside. And then this is going to go on the inside of my card. So I actually, on this card, I didn't stamp anything on the inside. You can, of course, layer everything out. You can embellish, you can, stamp and add whatever you'd like to the cards. And I hope that you will make them your own at home. So if you want to add something on the inside, feel free to do that. But I'm just going to keep this one kind of simple on the inside with those little pieces of paper, just kind of a little dress it up. Okay, I'm not alone. Cheryl says she also watches videos at 1.25 speed. And she likes that I'm not slow. Okay, I'm glad. Well, sometimes it's different when you're watching and when you're trying to follow along. I think sometimes when you're watching, you don't mind a faster pace, but I know that I do stamp faster than most people. And so if you're trying to follow along, then maybe fast isn't so good. We're going to come back to the front. I'm going to take that 1 by 4 inch piece of designer paper and I'm going to add this to the cardstock across the bottom. I'm keeping the same angle as our designer paper here, and I'm going just about a 1/2 inch or so from the bottom of the flower paper. So it's going to go across there, matching the same angle. And then we're going to add the circle, and I'm going to add the circle flat. So I'm going to do it right now. A lot of times I add circles with Stampin' Dimensionals, but I want to put this whole layer on the card with Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to do the circle flat, and then I'm going to have dimensionals under the focal images. I so enjoy following you guys in the chat and seeing your comments, and I'm thinking ahead to next month, and I'm feeling a little bit sad because next month I will be traveling during our last Thursday. Our last Thursday night in September, and so I plan to pre-record the class, and so I'll still do the class. It'll still premiere with the next kit, but I will not actually be watching, and I will not be responding live to your comments. So just a heads up about that. It's kind of sad to think about. Maybe I'll have to film it with some friends here in person so that there is a little banter and a little dynamic. Actually, I really love that idea. So I'm going to see what I can do. We leave in just like a couple weeks and I just feel like there's just so much to do before I go. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Stampin' Dimensionals to add the card front onto the card. And here's a little trick. I don't know. I always just kind of have the motion with these and peel them off, but I know some of you really have trouble with that. And so one little trick, I need a new sheet now. One little trick to get the Stampin' Dimensionals off is to use your poker and just poke right in the center. And then you can use your poker to kind of flick it off. So if you have trouble with the Stampin' Dimensionals, if I make it look easy, I'm sorry, but try a poker and do that. Now, isn't this fun? This little foam block actually was it even says on there, cool toppers. It was an antenna topper that I got when I first became a demonstrator like 22 years ago. It was one of like the marketing pieces they had for us. And I don't think I ever put it on the car, but it's so perfect to hold my little poker. So that's where that came from. Blast from the past. All right, let's stick this on the card front. And this is just going to go right in the center. Now this card front, this fresh freesia piece, it is a little bit smaller than I would normally do for a card front. So normally card fronts are like 4 by 5 1/4. This one is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And so you do get a little bit of a bigger border around the edge. And I just kind of like having the extra color peeking through. And sorry, I did change that up a little bit. Okay. For our card, we need a little beverage. Like I said, if you don't like the beverage, you certainly can do something a little bit different and add flowers or another focal image that you have. I don't know, a cupcake or something like that. Actually, it'd be so pretty for like a wedding card. I love that idea, actually. I don't want to use these images. I think I'm going to save this one for another card. So I'm going to use this paper. Now this paper, I don't think I have a full sheet of it, but I do have a partial sheet here from my package. So it actually ranges in color from yellow to pinks to reds to purples on this side. And so your 4 by 6 piece might have some different colors in it. It might have more of the yellows and reds and maybe not so much the purples. It does get even darker than this purple. So you just use what you have. Your cards are going to look a little bit different. And I'm going to show you some samples where I actually did have to use different pieces when I made the cards. And so you'll see what I mean. Let's take the Blackberry Bliss ink, and I'm using the stamp with the outline for the small glass. And I think I'm going to use this one down here, the one that's the darkest. And I stamped it so that there's a little bit of white room here above the glass. So it looks like there's a little bit of room, as Dad would say, some room to swirl, although I wouldn't necessarily call this wine. But and then also, while we have our ink pad open, we are going to stamp Let's Celebrate. Let's not celebrate, celebrate. Let's celebrate. For so long, every time I talked about celebration, I would say celebration. And I really had to like work on enunciating the sale. And now we don't have celebration anymore. And I just find myself saying celebration instead of celebration. Okay. I'm gonna cut this. I often cut my little scraps like this, my little 1/2 inch. I cut them long on purpose so that I can stamp it and then cut it so that it's in the center. So if you find that you don't always center things perfectly, that is a little trick to cut it longer than you need to and then trim it down. And now there is a die for this stamp, and so I think I'm going to use it. So I'm going to just cut that square out, and If you don't have the dies, then you can fussy cut your cup, no matter, or your glass, no matter which paper it's coming from. And if you're using the rectangle and you don't have the dies, this is a pretty straightforward image. I feel like you could pretty easily just draw it on here. And if you challenge me, I will show you how to freehand the glass. But if you don't want to see that, then I won't bother to do that. So let's get out the dies. And we've got this die that will die cut that. I also want to die cut the garnish, and in this case from our garnish sheet I'm going to use one of the little flowers, and I'll use this one because it's closer to the edge. Like I said, most of these do have coordinating dies that you can die cut. They also have coordinating stamps, and so I'm not so brave as to stamp this on to there, but you could if you wanted to add some detail. And both of them fit the same die, so I'm just going to use the die. I do see that I have officially been challenged. So let's get these die cut, and then I'm going to break out my markers and I'm going to show you how you can do it too, because I don't draw. I'm not a drawer. I'm not a good artist in that sense. My kids though, oh my gosh, they are amazing artists. They could draw something really amazing, and I should have them do it, but I've been challenged now, so I will do it. This, I'm gonna have to just tape that onto the cutting base, so let's get that out. Here's our little Lucy. Lucy's my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and she's been through it with me. We have a lot of fun with Lucy. She's like my little mini, my mini me. I'm going to line that up. It's such a small piece of paper, and I'm going to use the tape to cover the die. Stay down, don't move, and crank this through. I love it. Sharon says her mom's going to add a bird. Of course she is. That would be perfect, I think, on this card. All right, I'm sure we're going to use that later. We'll just put it down there for now. And I definitely don't want to lose my dies, so those are going right back in the case. We're just going to throw them in there. Okay. Back to our card. I am going to add these on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Oh, thank you so much, DRC. Reminding everybody, if you've got a YouTube account and you're watching on YouTube, and it's easy for you to do so. I know if you're watching on the TV, sometimes it's, I don't know actually how to do that on the TV, but if you can, and if it's easy, please give the video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel when you guys give it thumbs up, and when you subscribe as well. So if you're not subscribed, let's take this little side break to remind you to subscribe to my channel. And it will help you know when there's new videos and new online classes, Sunday stamping videos, daily video series, all of those special little things. So yeah, make sure that you subscribe. You'll get that notification. I guess you got to ring the bell or something for notification. I don't know. I'm not always really great at reminding you to do so. So thank you so much for reminding each other. I'm adding the sentiment with the Stampin' Dimensionals. So I have dimensionals. I always have that rule of 2. Dimensionals under the main layer, dimensionals under the glass, and then the sentiment is like the same layer of dimensionals, right? So that's going to also be the second layer, and that's going to kind of overlap the glass a little bit. It says, let's celebrate. And then on the inside, that fun little designer paper feature. So tell me, I promise I didn't forget about the challenge. Tell me what kind of occasion you would send this card for. I feel like birthdays, of course, but I think also like a wedding shower. Oh, because I just saw in my Facebook news, I think it was Peggy who retired today, was her last day. So I think a retirement, this would be so perfect for that. An anniversary, perhaps, so many different things. So leave a comment, let me know what you would send this card for. What occasion would you send the card for? I did promise you I'm going to give it a go on drawing a glass with a marker. Now, ironically, I think the Stampin' Right markers are the right choice for this one. And so I'm glad that I have my Stampin' Right markers here. I am going to attempt on this small glass here, and I'm going to use the strawberry slush marker. Our markers, the Stampin' Right markers, have two tips, a brush tip and a bullet tip. Now it's so funny because they literally just redesigned these markers and now they are now they're getting rid of them. All right, so our glass is going to have a straight, and I say straight, and I mean semi-straight, a straight-ish line across the top. And then, let's see, it kind of, looking at the image here, so we're kind of gonna like bow around, and then bow around and come straight across, and then bow the second side. So let's give this a try. We're gonna bow down and around, and our round kind of straightens out at the bottom. And then this side is going to curve. Now, it didn't curve as much as I wanted it to. It's a little bit, this glass got a little, what's the word? Warped in the dishwasher. Have you ever had that happen? I've had glasses kind of get warped in the dishwasher. So that's what happened to this one. It got a little warped. Even if you don't have a strawberry slush marker or the color that you want, you could freehand that. You could use a pencil and then erase it. You can use a darker pen, but I think that if you don't have the stamps, you could very easily kind of create your own glasses. I don't know. What do you think? I know this side is a little, I think that's always hard, right? I'm right-handed, so getting that right side seems like it's just not as, like I don't have enough room. I don't know. I'm making excuses. It looks fine. It's a hand-blown glass. I like that. All right. I'll have to use this now on a later card. And just a reminder, the Stampin' Right markers are on sale for the 2025 to 2027 in colors, and they are on the last chance list. So once these sell out, they will be gone forever. If you like having the water-based dye ink markers, make sure you get your Stampin' Right markers, the whole collection. If you don't have them already, get the colors and the color families that you don't have. Oh, Sherry says her glass has a small bottom, and so she can't have too many sips or it's gonna fall right over. Yeah, of course, big bottoms are good, right? Okay, our first card, we are done because we have to embellish, right? So let's see what we have for embellishments. I should have gotten these out ahead of time. When I was creating, oh, I like those purple ones. I don't know if that's the right purple though. The ones that come in this suite are the, oh, no, not those. I like those. The holographic resin dots. And they kind of have like an ice cube kind of vibe to them. They're a little bluish, but they're really pretty. I was looking at some other ones. I think the berry burst ones in here would go nice with the paper. The strawberry slush ones could go really nice with this paper. I have, I keep my embellishments in this box. And so I put like, these are all the current ones, and then I have retired ones back here that I've held on to. And I pulled something out, maybe it was this one and I've used them all, that had the, yeah, the dark pink in there. Like that's, why do I have two of those? That's a good option. These are shimmer dots from the last in colors. So I know that you guys have lots of embellishments at home. So you guys feel free to use whatever you would like on your cards. I think for this card, I'm going to use the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink gems. And this has dark pink, light pink, and also some clear gems with like some gold flecks. And I think I actually might use those. Just kind of adding my trio around the glass. When I wrote the instructions today, I said embellish as desired. And so you can put yours however you'd like them, wherever you want them, however many you want. Let me show you some other versions of this card. This one looks pretty similar. So yeah, that's the same. Actually, I used different embellishments there. I don't know if I like 3. I'm just gonna do 2. Here I cut this out of the designer paper, so it's a little bit lighter. I added the gems on the other side because that was leaning that way. And then I have some alternative samples. So here is one with the Painterly Pears. For this card, I used the other Glass and Gardens embossing folder, and so you can see that design in action. Just a little bit there on the bottom. And the Painterly Pears is the suite that we will be using in next month's kit. And so if you would like to get it, the stamp set and bundle, you could get that now. If you order $40 or more, you are going to qualify to get my Painterly Pears kit for free. So make sure you order by August 31st. At juliedavison.com/shop. I had planned to design their cards and showcase them tonight, but that didn't happen because I was sick, and so I apologize for not having those samples to share with you, but I hope to get them designed tomorrow and to share a picture and put it out there on social media so you can see what the cards look like. But Painterly Pears is going to be our project kit. You can earn it for free by the end of August if you order $40 before tax and shipping and after rewards are redeemed. And there will be extra kits that will be made available for sale as well. Just very few. I'm going to say that up front. There's not a lot of extra kits. And so you can purchase the kit afterwards if you'd like. Team members can subscribe and get my kits for $5 kit, which is a steal. This class is going to take place on Thursday, September 25th, which is the 4th, or not the 4th, the last Thursday of the month. I will be out of town, so it will be pre-recorded for you to enjoy. So this is not one of the cards, but this is just a bonus card with the same layout that we just created. And then a third card with this layout is this one here using the Nature's Sweetness. This was actually the first one that I designed with it like a year or two ago. And I just found it in my stash and I was like, I really like that layout. And so I decided to recreate it with the cards I made today. So on this one, I actually stamped on the designer paper to customize it. I didn't have embossing across the bottom, but I really do like having that extra dynamic and layer. So there you go. 3 different options using the same layout. And again, this is our back pocket card layout. So on the back of that card, you do have a picture of the Painterly Pears card to remind you if you want to recreate that at home. But I hope that you'll just use this layout and create using whatever you have at home, whether it's pears or almonds or glasses or flowers or Christmas or whatever. All right. How did your card turn out? Did you guys finish up that first card? I hope so. I'm excited to roll into our second card, and I actually need to grab a stamp set I forgot to get out. I'm bringing in a different greeting set for this card, so I'm going to grab that really quick. So I love the images in the Cheers and Sips stamp set. It goes really well with the designer paper, but the sentiments are all very small. And I just found that I wanted for this layout in particular something that was a little bigger and bolder. And so I decided to use the Simply Said stamp set. Now, if you don't have this one, it's a good one to add to your next order. It is a carryover stamp set, but it's just got a lot of really great basic sentiments in it, really all occasion. I love that they're kind of different sizes. We've got the skinny ones, we've got ones that are a little bit bigger, and I just think it works for so many different things. So Simply Said, one of my favorites, still available. You can get that in the online store, and in the PDF I do have, I think it's also in the video description, I have some links to all of the supplies that I used. I'm seeing some issues. I'm seeing some issues on my side with watching. I can't tell if that is also a problem with the broadcast. Can you guys see everything okay? Let me know if you're having any problems or if it is locked up. But I just saw the camera move, so I think we're good. Yeah, exactly. Hold your cards up so we can see them all. I totally want to say that. I would love to see all your cards. So feel free to share your cards in the Facebook group, Julie's Stampin' Spot Share and Connect group, so I can ooh and ah over them. Okay. So our next card is using Timid Tiger for the card base. Let me get the card out and show you. Where did it go? I just have so many piles everywhere. Oh, here we go. This one. It is this card. And it's kind of a simple card, but I really love this layout. A little solid cardstock to kind of highlight the designer paper. And what I want to show you my other samples ahead of time is that I don't know where my other one went. It might be on the couch where I was measuring it. But I wanted to show you how I use different glasses. So on the other card, the third one, I had a short little glass. I think I like the tall one better. I think it just balances out the card a little bit more. So on this one, I used a purple glass and I used a little orange garnish. On this one, I didn't have a tall purple glass when I was making it. So I chose the orange drink, which I think looks like iced tea. And then to tie in the purple, I added the purple garnish. So depending on what you have to use, you might make a change and do something different. I think I want to save this one for the third card. So for this card, I think I'm going to use this one and die cut it. It's not exactly the berry, or it's not exactly the blackberry bliss. It's more of a berry burst, but I might stamp the outline on it and customize it a little bit. Let's cut our designer paper. So pulling out our paper, this is the pattern I'm going to use. It has all the drinks on it. And if you are not a fan of the cocktails, you could conceivably, if you don't cut your garnishes, you could use that paper and have sort of just like, you know, a fruit design instead. So if you're not a fan of the cocktails, that's a really great B-side pattern to save for something else. And you could use that, or you could use this one, and then you could use the polka dots on the pink card or something, so you can kind of substitute things as you wish. And that's what I love about these cards. You can just make it your own. Okay, so this piece of designer paper is going to be 3 inches by 5 inches. Second guessing myself, so I'm going to double check on my PDF. Yes, 3 inches by 5 inches, and we want the design to be tall. So again, I'm going to start with the 3 inches, and you'll have that piece for something else, and then 5 inches. Okay, so that's our designer paper piece. Our little accent piece of the Blackberry Bliss is 1 inch by 4 1/4. And we're just gonna attach that to the back here. Now I thought it was funny because I was organizing my card samples today for the holiday catalog, and I have to show you this really quick. I guess I had this layout on my brain because I made a very similar card using some new holiday products where I have the gold piece kind of peeking out from the side, and I just did it like on the opposite side. So this is kind of the same layout. I think the green paper is a little bit smaller, but it's the same idea of having a panel of designer paper, a little accent strip, and then your embellishment piece. So I didn't necessarily intend for that to happen, but it was a layout that I kind of went back to without realizing it. So new products here, traditions of Christmas. I'm really excited. The event that I'm planning, I plan to use this suite, Traditions of Christmas, as the featured suite that we're going to have projects for. I'm still working on all the details, so stay tuned. I will be announcing them very soon. And the event is going to be really awesome. So just stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't have all the details yet, so I can't speak on it too much. That's not the side I meant to put adhesive on. You're going to add the strip behind the left side of your designer paper, kind of evenly spacing it there. And it just kind of acts as just something to sort of ground the layer. This is going to go on the Timid Tiger card base, which is the regular 8.5 by 5.5. So regular adhesive to put this down. Right there. And then what did I do on the inside? Oh, we did something fun on the inside. I forgot about that. Okay, this is gonna be good. Okay, let's do the front first, and then we'll come back to the inside. So on the front, I'm going to stamp birthday wishes. No, actually, I did birthday wishes here, but I want to send this to, I want to send this to Thomas's girlfriend. She is starting her year of school, and I wanted to just send her a little Starbucks gift card and a little, like, you know, happy back to school thing. And so I don't want to say birthday, so I'm gonna use this card for her, and I'm gonna say just a note. There, that's perfect. Just a note. And then for the inside for her card, I'm gonna say thinking of you. The inside for my sample card, I did use the Let's Celebrate from the Celebratory Sips. Okay, thinking of you. I'm gonna leave this out because we are going to do our glass next. And for this one, what did I have in mind? Oh yes, I was going to use this glass, and I'm going to stamp the outline over it. So there is a short glass outline and a tall glass outline, and I just want to kind of highlight the Blackberry Bliss a little bit more. So I just put that right over the image on the designer paper, and you can run this through the die cutting machine and die cut it. I'm just gonna fussy cut it though. I'm just gonna cut it out because it's an easy shape. And this must be a little warped glass too, because it doesn't go all the way to the edges. Actually, I do find sometimes with glass, right, it is like thick, and so sometimes like the outside of the glass doesn't look the same as the inside of the glass. I like to leave a little border around the edges when I cut. I know some people like to go right to the edge. My mom is a right to the edge kind of gal when it comes to fussy cutting. And I like to leave that little white border, even if my border isn't perfect and even all the way around. And I wonder if it's because she's left-handed and maybe it's a little harder to see the white border. I don't know. So quick pop question. Do you like to leave a white border or not? And are you left-handed or right-handed? I'm curious if the white border is the if what leaving a white border is a tendency that happens more in right-handed stampers, and no border is a tendency that happens more in left-handed stampers, or if I'm just making a generalization and that's not true at all. I'm going to fussy cut the garnish, and I want to bring in some of that orange color again, so I'm going to do this little orange peel for this card. Jean's asking about Thomas, my oldest. He is doing well. He is working full-time, and he's loving his job, and they live not near me. They live about an hour away, and so I don't get to see them as often as I would like to, and that makes me sad. But we always make the most of their visits whenever we get to see them, and that's just how it happens, right? When they get older, they don't live here forever. Okay, I'm curious, so I am going to read some of your comments about fussy cutting. Okay, Jane says she always fussy cuts with a white border. Cindy, no border, and she's right-handed. Mesa says right-handed with a border. Tracy, right-handed with a white border. Sharon says I trained her to leave a border, and she is right-handed. Sherry also right-handed with a border. Lots of right-handed folks leaving a border. So, okay, interesting. Mary says she's left-handed and she has a hard time fussy cutting. She feels like her hand hides part of the image. I think that's the thing, right? I think that's what makes fussy cutting so hard, is your hand kind of covering that image. I think Mom has the same problem as well. And Margaret says that sometimes she leaves an edge and sometimes she doesn't. I think sometimes it depends on the image too, right? Okay, this card is kind of clean and simple, but you know, that's me. I love clean and simple. It's clean and simple, and then you just kind of dress it up a little bit, right? So I've got a little ribbon here to dress it up. The Timid Tiger faux linen ribbon is one of 5 in the In Color collection. It is on sale this month, so if you really like this color and want to get some more, then grab it while it's on sale. 15% off through Sunday. And with lightweight ribbon like this, sometimes I use that tear and tape trick. Sometimes I just put adhesive right on the back, and I'm trying to think, I want the ribbon off of this end on the diagonal, so I'm just going to stick that down so the ribbon kind of holds in place. If you want to, you can still add the tear and tape behind it to keep it down. And then I'm going to add this on with some Stampin' Dimensionals, which I've got like multiple sheets running around now. I know there are more left-handed stampers. They're just not typing tonight. I'm sure we'll get lots of comments in the replay from all our lefties. And okay, so I've got Stampin' Dimensionals on the label. This is going, this is going to go on the right side. I think I just got ink on my arm. On the right side here. And then I do want this to kind of tuck back behind there a little bit. Can I alter this? Make it more down here. See, Janie says left-handed and she leaves a border. And always leaves a border. Okay, so maybe that tendency to not leave a border isn't necessarily tied to which hand you use. An interesting thing to think about. Okay. Sorry, I'm struggling with this a little bit. Sometimes I just need to stick with what I originally did and stop trying to change it. Okay, back on the card, and then I'm gonna stop touching it. And then we've got our, I didn't lose it, okay. We've got our little garnish. And I don't know if that's how it would go on there, but that's how it looks good. I like that we bring in the purple and the orange together. The drink is also going to go on dimensionals and kind of tuck underneath. And on this card layout, if you don't want to add, you know, another image like the drink, you could just have the sentiment on there because the paper is really busy and so it doesn't necessarily need anything. I do like though how it just kind of anchors the, I think it just kind of anchors the sentiment to have the image on there. So got that. And then we're going to embellish. And for this one, I am bringing out those pearls. These are the 2025 to 2027 in color pearls. And I'm gonna add 3 of them. Kind of do, oops, oh, that missed its glue dot. Dolores, another lefty who does have problems fussy cutting. I think it's just the hand getting in the way. I think that's true. That's why we've got dies for die cutting, right? Dolores says she enjoys using dies so that she doesn't have to fussy cut. Okay, so I've got my embellishments for the inside. I wanted to do something special and I wanted to add another image and do some paper piecing. And we might have to come back to this. Where's that one we used earlier? It's an orange card though. Is that weird to do that? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna stamp. I'm gonna stamp a glass on the inside. I'm gonna do orange ice to tie in the color because I don't know, why not? And then I want to add a little bit of an umbrella, and we're gonna have to come back to part of this and I'll show you why in just a moment. So I'm going to stamp the umbrella, and what I want to do is I want to stamp the other part of the umbrella on the flower paper and then cut it out and do some paper piecing. Let me show you what that looks like on the inside of my sample cards. So here I stamped on the paper and I cut it out, and then I paper pieced with the umbrella to get the flowers, which I love. On this one I did the same thing. I actually forgot to add the umbrella. What a bummer that is. But I did the same thing with designer paper, and I think I just didn't go back to finish this card. So we're gonna do it now. Okay, but the flower paper that I want to use for the paper piecing, we need that for the next card. So I am going to come back to adding that after we know what is going to be scraps, because I don't want to just cut into our paper until we cut the pieces that we need for the next card. So let's set this aside and move on to our last card. But tell me what you think about the front of the card. Do you love this card design? It's just such a clean, simple card, an easy way to show off and use busy designer paper patterns. Whether you're using a purple glass or an orange glass, or maybe you threw in some green or purple or blue or left it off completely, I hope that you like the way your second card turned out. I really, really, really love this third card. It uses that flower paper, which is just so much fun. So let's cut it, and we're going to come back to the paper piecing on the second card. Let me show you this card design. It is that corner tuck card that I showed you at the beginning of the video. And we're going to stamp some strawberries on the inside and have 2 more celebratory sips here on the focal point. Now, again, if you don't like the drinks and you don't want the glasses, this designer paper is really versatile. You can add other flower images or other fun things to embellish your card. Now I made a couple versions. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to be sharing cards throughout our video. We have a whole bucket of extra samples to go over. So I'm going to do this at the end. Don't let me forget. I usually try to do a couple as we go. Like, you know, I do a few and then I do a few more and then I do a few more. And I forgot to do that. So we're just going to save them all for the end and we'll look at all of them. This card is relatively quick, but I wanted to show you just some different samples. Oh, those two are the same, but this one is different. I used the lemonade and I used another small glass. And so you just got to use whatever you have on your designer paper. And it looks like what I have is these two right here, which is going to be more along the lines of that. Now on this one, I did add some texture to that glass using the die that comes in the Cheers and Sips bundle. I just thought that kind of little detail was really fun and I wanted to add that to the project. So I'm going to get out that die from my set, and you can use the texture die by itself or you can use the texture die to fit inside the glass. And so I'm just going to use them both at the same time to die cut this one. I think I had a garnish that was a strawberry from this paper, which also has a die. So I'm going to die cut that at the same time. And the orange glass, because it has I can't think I can't think and cut at the same time. Because it has a garnish already on it, it is not going to work with any of the dies because the die is just for the glass and not for the garnish on the glass. So I'm just going to give that a quick fussy cut. I try to control my paper and keep my scissors mostly still while rotating the paper around. I do find that helps me kind of do a little better with the cutting. And this piece will run through the die cutting machine. And we're going to use both of those dies on it and also get out the die for the strawberry. So let's get our stickies back out here. Susan says she's left-handed and usually cuts with a white border, but she cuts counterclockwise as if she were right-handed. That's interesting. I wonder if that's just the key, is just switching the direction. And it's really interesting. I did say my mom is left-handed, and she taught me how to cross stitch, and so I learned how to cross stitch left-handed because she was teaching me, and so that was just like the motion and the way that I learned. I haven't cross stitched in a long time, so I don't know if I would still cross stitch left-handed, but when I did back in the day, I did do that motion the same way she showed me. I love that idea. Margaret says that when she fussy cuts, she just fussy cuts the whole sheet. So then she's got those pieces ready to go when it's time to craft. And that makes the crafting go so much faster. That's such a great idea. And that's such an easy thing to do while you're sitting and like watching TV or talking on the phone. I guess if you were a passenger in the car, you could do it while you were driving. Not you driving, but somebody else driving. I forgot what I was going to say. The thought just went right in and right out. fussy cutting. Oh, I was going to show you how in my stamp case, I have a little clear envelope where I've kept some of the pieces that I've die cut. So you can keep them in your designer paper or keep them with your stamp set. But if you have your pieces prepped ahead of time, it does make crafting with them so much faster. Oh, so cute. I love them. Okay, we don't want to lose the dies, so we're going to get those put back. I forgot to ask you guys before we got started, how many of you have the suite? Are you a fan of the Celebratory Sips suite? Do you have the designer paper and or the stamp set? I think that this is such a fun one, and honestly, like, I wasn't gonna get it. Like, I always get all the designer paper because I love it, but the stamps, I was like, I don't need these, it'll be fine. But then, like, almost right away, I started seeing cards and ideas, and I was like, yeah, no, I think I need I think I need it. I do want to show you really quick because I thought this was really interesting. When I was getting ready for the video tonight, I was saving samples from Stampin' Up. These are from the online store, but I wanted to show you how they use the images in the stamp set to create cards that have nothing to do with cocktails. So they use the glasses as bases. They use some of the garnishes as flowers and things that you would put in the vase. Or here you have the garnish, the orange slice with a leaf to create a card with oranges. And I just thought it was so clever how you could create something totally different using the same things that come in the stamp set and the suite. So I hope that this inspires you. Maybe you don't like the cocktails or the drinks. You could create a vase using some of the garnishes and cut them out, or use some of the garnishes as your focal point instead. Okay, so for our designer paper piece, we're using that flower piece of designer paper, and we are going to cut at 2.5 inches, and then it's 2.5 by 4 inch. And then we're also going to cut another piece at 2 inches and cut it again at 2 inches. So we have a 2 by 2 piece. Oh, my trimmer's so dirty, don't look. And we're going to cut diagonally from corner to corner. Let's see here, right in the crack. Okay, so we are going to use one piece for this card, and the second piece we're going to use for the paper piecing of the umbrella. Although I have to say I've made this card before where I use both of the corners, and I'll show you what that looks like if you want to do it that way. Our cardstock pieces are strawberry slush for the card base. This started as a 4¼ by 11 inch piece of strawberry slush cardstock. So this is a half a sheet of cardstock the long way. I scored it at 5½ inches, and then I cut the card front in half. So I cut it at 2¾ from the end. This is the remaining piece, that is the card front, and then this piece will layer on top in the center to be that flap. So it's such a clean and simple way to create a card that just has a little more dynamic. The 2.5 by 4 inch piece that we cut off the designer paper is going to go on the card front. And then there's a white piece that's the same size, 2.5 inches by 4. And that's going to go on the layer for the front. There's also a 4 by 5¼ piece for the inside. And the pocket is going to go up here in the corner of that white piece. Now, if you wanted to, you could add the other corner down here, and it would just be a design element to balance out the triangles. I did think about doing that, but I really like having the idea of incorporating the strawberry back into the card. And so on my card, I decided instead to stamp the strawberries down the side. So you can choose to do both, or you can choose to just add your designer paper. That is totally up to you. When you add your pocket on, you want to use a strong adhesive like the tear and tape, and you're only going to put it on the straight sides of the pocket so that you have room for the flap to fit inside of it. So tear and tape on the straight edges, leaving that inside open, and this is going to go right in the corner of the white cardstock. So there's room to tuck in there. I'm going to stamp the strawberries, but like I said, you could use your little corner there if you'd like to. And I am going to do the stamping. So let's get out the strawberry stamp and the strawberry slush ink and stamp some strawberries down the side. Oh man, you can't see it, it's fine. I'm also gonna add on the inside the stamp that says, "Let's celebrate." I love this one because it just fits so many different occasions. No matter what you're celebrating, it works. For the front of the card, I'm gonna slow down, Julie. For the front of the card, I'm going to stamp the cheers and "It's Your Day." And so the cheers can be by itself, or you can add "Cheers to you," "Cheers to us," "Cheers, it's your day," however you would like to have it on there. So I am going to say, "Cheers, it's your day," kind of in the bottom right corner on the white cardstock for the front. Margaret says she's stamped the glass with ice cubes on watercolor paper with Versamark and embossed with white, so you can watercolor different cocktails. I love the look of that. I got a great big card swap that had that, and I don't think it was from you, Margaret, but it might have, I think it was from somebody else, but it's such a pretty look to have the white ice cubes. Of course, you could also just emboss with white embossing powder on any of the designer paper if you wanted to. So you could, if you're using this paper, for example, you could emboss white ice cubes, and it's going to have a similar look as the watercolor wash over the emboss image. In one case, you would use white or clear. In the other, you could use the white so that it shows up on the colored designer paper. Okay, so I am going to just layer now. This, like I said, this card is kind of easy, but in a good way, because I think sometimes, you know, we want to make cards that are over the top and awesome, and sometimes they don't need to be totally over the top to be impressive. And I think this is one of those cards that just kind of has that fun little tuck element that makes it special without needing all the layers and all the fuss. So our designer paper went on the front flap. Our white cardstock went on the inside. This white cardstock is going to go on the cardstock layer. And before I layer all the drinks on, I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. And right now, I'm not going to worry about tucking it. Right now, I'm just going to worry about centering it on the flap. I'm going to use some tear and tape adhesive to make sure that it holds well. I've got two pieces here because you don't want to put adhesive on the whole thing or you'll glue your card closed. This is going to center then on the flap, kind of even spacing around all the edges. I probably could have put another piece of adhesive there, but that's okay. And then it will automatically fit and tuck underneath that corner. We're going to add our celebratory sips. The back one, which is taller, is going to go down with the regular adhesive, and then I'll add the other one with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And originally my card said cheers to us. And so I thought it was especially appropriate to include 2 beverages on it because it's 2 people. Cheers to us. So if you only are doing, you know, cheers to you, or you know, I think in general, cheers just implies the clinking of glasses, right? And two people sharing in that moment. So either way, I think 2 is a good number for this card. I'm also going to add a little dimensional for the strawberry and kind of put that over here to the side. Now for this one, I do think a good option is to tie in that pink color again and use some of the pink flat pearls. We also have the strawberry slush gems, which are a good option. The holographic resin dots are the ones that come in this suite. This one has some berry burst in there. The ones that are retired tinsel gems has some pretty pink in there. I think I'm going to go with these, actually, a little sparkly. Oh, there we go. I'm going to use the dark ones this time. And I'll do, I think there's just 2 different sizes. I'll do 2 down here and 1 up there, kind of around the sentiment. Cheers. It's your day. Let's celebrate. Did I go too fast on that one? I felt like I was a little faster. I apologize. It's kind of easy though. And so hopefully if you didn't quite keep up, that you'll be able to finish up your card and add those drinks and embellishments as you finish them. Okay, I want to clean up my desk just a smidgy. There's the alternative sample there with a different drink combination. Do that one. I just have stuff everywhere. Just clean it up. Card number 3. Okay, so before we go back and do our paper piecing, I would love for a quick little vote on which card was your favorite of the 3. So we did the purple one first, and then the orange one, and then the pink one. Give me a quick vote. 1, 2, 3. Tell me which one you are loving from this card class. I'm always so curious because it's not always the card that I would choose. Sometimes you guys love things that that I don't necessarily. Not that I don't love it, but you know what I mean. It's just a little different. Barb says 1, Sharon says 3, Jennifer likes 1, Mesa says 3. 1 and 3 are Susan's favorites, and it looks like everybody else too. Nobody likes number 2. Oh, poor number 2. 1 and 3 are winning tonight. Tony says love them all, can't choose. All right, well, let's go back and finish up our extra little special thing on the inside of card number 3. We're going to do the paper piecing on that umbrella image. And so I'm going to stamp the umbrella with the Blackberry Bliss ink onto the flower designer paper. And then you can use the die or you can fussy cut. And actually for this one, I do want to, well, when I cut it, I cut that little bit on the top. I just cut it right off. And then I left the stamp image showing. Now when paper piecing, this is the one time I do cut really close and don't leave a border because I want it to fill the stamped space. So it's just kind of a fun way to add a little bit of color here to your card, little design, and hide that little umbrella handle. So fun, so cute. So that technique is called paper piecing. If you haven't seen that before, now you have. And there you go. All right, I hope you liked tonight's cards. We're not done, so that's not me saying goodbye yet. But I hope that you liked them and that you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Before I let you go, I have some more card samples to share with you using the Celebratory Sips Suite. I also want to remind you about a few things. So I'm going to do my reminders, and then I'm going to do the... and then we're going to do the samples, and we'll end with that. Okay, so first reminder, I gotta get them all my ducks in a row. First reminder is the 2025 to 2027 in color products are 15% off, and that does include the Celebratory Sips designer paper. So if you don't have this paper yet, and I've convinced you that maybe you should get it, you can get it on sale. When you order $40 or more before August 31st, you're going to earn my next kit, which is going to feature the Painterly Pears Suite. We'll be doing this class together in September on Thursday, September 25th to make those cards. So if you want to get your kit like automatically in the mail for free, place your order by August 31st. There will be a limited number of extra kits available. Speaking of extra kits, if you buy a kit right now on my kit page at juliedavison.com/kits, you can get an extra kit for free. When you buy any kit on the page, you'll get to choose a 2024 kit for free. So that's really awesome. It's a buy one get one free sale. It's the 2024 kits that you'll get to choose for free, and I'll contact you to place or to get your selection and mail them together. So that does include this kit. If you want to get this kit, you can get a free kit with that purchase if you order by Tuesday, September 2nd. The next day, the very next day, September 3rd, is when the holiday catalog launches. The September to December 2025 mini catalog starts on Wednesday, September 3rd. And if you would like to sample everything and get a product share featuring all the designer paper and the ribbon, not only from the September mini catalog, the September online exclusives, but also the July online exclusives, then make sure you sign up for the product share. It's going to include 6x6 pieces of designer paper, specialty paper, die cuts that are in some of the papers, a yard each of 9 new ribbons, and the Painterly Pears are in here as well. So if you would like to get the product share, then you will have the designer paper that you need to create the cards that we're going to make next month. Just a heads up. If you would like to reserve your product share, I'll be sending out invoices starting tomorrow, and you can do that at tinyurl.com/sept, SEPT 2025 product share. It's just a great way to sample all the new designer paper without having to buy a whole individual pack of each and every one of them. So I highly recommend getting a little sample of all these things in the product share. It's $40 plus shipping unless you live near me, and you're welcome to do a porch pickup. All right, stay tuned for some details about my upcoming event. I'm going to do a little holiday retreat in October, and I'm excited to be sharing some special projects with you, some exclusive back pocket card layouts, and an all-day retreat that's going to leave you inspired and exhausted, because you're just going to have so much stamping that done that you're just going to feel so full of stamping. What is the word there? Not exhausted. Satiated? You're going to be so full, and you're going to be so happy and creatively inspired. So stay tuned for that event. All right. Before we end our video tonight, let's take a look at these bonus samples featuring the Celebratory Sips. I just love these colors. I love the imagery. I think we're starting with some cards that I've made, including this little fun fold that I showed you guys last month. This uses a whole 5 1/4 by 12-inch piece of designer paper, and I'll link up the video description if you missed this one. It's really kind of easy, actually. You're just scoring at 2 inches, 4 inches, 8 inches, and 10 inches. Yes. And then you're folding those in and then adding the embellishments, which were just cut out from the paper. So fun. I love that one. Here's the one that I did when we did our Sunday stamping video. I used a little bit of that embossing folder from the Gardens and Glass, or Glass and Gardens. And then these were cut from the little rectangles and some garnishes cut from that designer paper. This was a back pocket card layout bonus sample that I did for the May 2025 series, including some of the bright colors. I love this. The yellow is just so bright, but I just think it's so much fun. Didn't use a gloss on this one, but just some of the patterns of the paper and mixing and matching those colors. Here's another one that was a back pocket card layout. I don't think it was featured on the card though. Using some different designer papers with peach pie as the lighter orange in here. So pretty, right? This was a card, from Mom. I love that. We did a little 1-for-1 card swap using new products, and this is the card that Mom sent me, layering some of the designer paper, using a little textured notes die to highlight the focal image that she cut out. And then this card is from Susie Wood. She swapped with me at, I think it must have been Disney. She had an extra card. And I love how she used the two-tone Petunia Pop designer paper. So she used that embossing folder, the flowers. And then she did a little sanding to reveal the white core in the two-tone paper. I just think it's so pretty and subtle to have that background in there with the embossing. And then just a little pop of white. Your Pretty Wonderful comes from a different suite. I'm trying to pinpoint it, and I can't remember which stamp set that's from. But Petunia Pop here, I think, is such a nice color. I didn't think about putting that color with some of these designer papers, but it does make sense that it would be in there. This card is one that I made at the Peoria Shoebox Swap. Shannon West held an event there in March, I think it was. And I think I made some changes. I don't remember what the card looked like exactly, but I added a little mini card here, and then it's like a little Z fold, and it folds out like that. I can't remember what the original one was, but I made it a little bit different. Maybe I flipped the paper too. Some of these cards are from that same event, including this one. So I don't know who the original shoebox swap designer was, but this was the card that I put together, and I loved that paper piecing with the umbrella. That's actually where I got the idea. Ooh, I think you're right, Catherine. That might be from the Wonderful Thoughts stamp set. Oh, here is my other sample. I was looking for that one. This is the one with the short glass, and I use the holographic dots here. So short glass, tall glass. I think that the tall one just kind of stands out a little bit more. The short one gets lost in the crowd. Anyway, this card is from Terry Biggs, and it has kind of a fun little double flap here. So it flaps open. And then again, she's used the embossing folder underneath the designer paper. And these colors are so fun. Berry Burst with Timid Tiger. I know, aren't these cards amazing? Just wait, this one is so cool. This one is from Karen Snyder, and she is so clever. Okay, so here's the glass. We've got these wine glasses. It says cheers, and it opens up with different layers here. This is an older embossing folder, but it still works really well. And I think she used this embossing folder for the glasses, although I think it would be really fun too to use that one. So she did the embossing folder on a piece of like cello bag, but I think it would be pretty to do that on a window sheet that has a little bit more thickness to it. In fact, oh my gosh, we need to try that. I know this video is like so long already, okay? But we're gonna try this with the window sheet. Okay, so do you recognize the dies that she used? Where did my die set go? Let me show you. Okay, so she has the small glass for the top, obviously. Then she did a little strip, and look what the base is. It's the umbrella! How clever is that? I mean, I never would have thought of that. I just thought that was so fun that she mixed and matched those dies and just kind of created her own glass with that. So that's how she got the tall glasses. And then the, what? I bet you that this die was used, it looks like, I think this is more hand cut here, but she could have used this die to do the stem. This is like the little skewer for the olives. I know, so clever. Okay. And the fun fold on top of that. So cool. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna experiment with the window sheets. But let's finish looking at these cards because there's more. This one is from Michelle Cook, and she has kind of a similar idea here with the flap, using the white embossing folder up here. Time to Celebrate comes from the More Messages. That's the one that has all one big stamp, one big die to die cut all of the sentiments. Soft wave embossing in the background, kind of a fun little texture to add to that. I always love embossing folders on white. I think they're so pretty. This was Mom's Sunday stamping card featuring the Celebratory Sips. She made a floating bridge card. That was so cool, right? Have you made a bridge card before? I think I have a video tutorial, and the difference between the floating bridge card and a regular bridge card is that the bridge piece is a window sheet. So if you look at the instructions to make the bridge card, it's exactly the same. Just use a window sheet for your piece that's going across. It folds flat to stick in a regular card, but it folds up to be this really fun layered diorama kind of card. I know, really cool. And our last card, this was also one of the Peoria shoebox swaps, and I made some changes and kind of did my own thing. It had a book binding, a little bit of that Berry Burst embossing folder with the glass and gardens, and then just some layering with the designer paper pieces. So pretty. I just love all of these cards. I think this suite is so fun and so bright. You just can't go wrong. Let me get out some, I'm so excited about this. I can't even stand it. Let me get out some window sheets. I have a new package, but I think I have one that has smaller pieces. Aha, I do. Okay. Perfect. Okay, we're going to use our little mini die cutting machine, and I think that we want to cut first and then emboss. So I'm going to cut from the window sheet. Ooh, that made a fun noise. All right, so there is that. It's like a stencil. Oh, ideas in my head. Okay, and then we're going to take, oh my gosh, yes. And we're going to emboss this. I'm kind of doing it at the top so that we have like just the bottom of the bottom is designed. Can you see it in there? And then I think we need to, let's see, what is the embossing folder layer? I think we need a different platform. So hang on. Let's see. Yes, okay. I almost never use this for my little embossing folders. Number 3 is the one to use with your embossing folders, and it shows you how to layer here. Using with standard embossing folders, and you're going to do 3 and, okay. So instead of number 2, we're using the 3 and the 1. So let me make sure that's still lined up how I want it to be. And we're going to sandwich 1 and 3 and send it through. Okay. Oh, the top looks like an EKG strip. Yeah, I totally see that. Here is Can you see it? I don't know how well it shows up. I need like a piece of colored cardstock. Do you see the texture on there? That's so cool. I love it. So you can add this to your project. You could add it to any of them. That one is like trying to shove it under there. Like just to add like a little extra layer to it. Look at that. So cool. So cool. I really love the way that looks. Okay, so now the question is like, what adhesive do you use to add that? I don't know how the adhesive would show through. So I think I would be very strategic about putting, like if I was going to do it on this card, let's see here. If I was going to do it on this card, I think that I would be strategic and put a glue dot underneath the strip. Is that enough to hold it in place, or do you feel like we would want more? So a glue dot under the white cardstock and a glue, it's still on my finger, and a glue dot on the window sheet to go on the paper. So like it is loose, but like it's mostly down. And now you don't have any adhesive showing. If you wanted to add, I think maybe like a little line here, I would add it just along like the outside edge of the glass so that it kind of makes sense for the line to be there, to tack that down a little bit. Honestly don't know how the liquid glue holds. Yeah. Oh, okay, DRC is suggesting use the liquid glue, like use it on the maybe it's holding okay. DRC suggests putting it on the designer paper and letting it dry so that it's tacky, and then like it's sort of like a long glue dot, like a custom glue dot. Once it's tacky and mostly dry, then you can kind of smush that down and it'll hold. But I think it's actually drying okay with it on there. And so I do think having a little strategically placed liquid glue is a good way to hold that down. I just think it adds such a fun little texture and detail to the card. I don't know how well it's coming through on camera, but it looks really cool. Really cool in person. Adhesive sheets would be another one. That's a good thought, Anne. Probably with the adhesive sheets, I would think you would want to, like to just cover the whole thing, so it's all one like layer of adhesive. Thank you so much to Karen for her inspiration here. What a fun idea. I think she also did a little custom cutting on that glass to make it look like it was tilted too. Every little detail, so fun, so clever. All right, well, that is it for me tonight. What a long video, but thank you for sticking through to the very end. I hope that you feel inspired with the Celebratory Sips Suite. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's cards and that you'll give these layouts a try at home. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Mom and I were just discussing our Sunday stamping video, and this week we are going to sneak peek the Autumn Toile Suite that's coming out in the September mini catalog starting next week. So be sure to tune in. It's Sunday, noon Central Time, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time to see what we come up with and what we have to share. Thank you for spending time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye, everybody.